It's Cardinals time.
Hey, everybody. Kairi091 hanging out with you for this week's edition of Kairi's Cards Cast, alongside the one and only Sir Brian Lutz. How are you doing today, Mr. Lutz?
Hey guys, this is Brian Lutz, currently harboring an extra-dimensional alien in my small intestine, much like the movie Spaceballs. So if it comes out with the song and dance, then you know that I am gone.
Oh, goodness gracious. That was a good film, Spaceballs.
It was underrated, underappreciated.
Is it underrated, though? I'm pretty sure it's widely regarded as being a great film by everyone who has seen it. The only people who don't like it are people who haven't yet seen it, right?
Okay.
YouTube, here's what I want from you guys, YouTube. I want you guys to comment.
That's a good point.
I want
That's a good point.
I want you YouTuber folks to tell me whether or not you liked Spaceballs. If you didn't, I'd like to know why. And then you can unsubscribe after you tell me why you didn't, because I'm not interested in you watching my shit. We sort of have a rule on this channel. You can't watch this stuff unless you like Spaceballs.
Did you know that laxatives give interdimensional aliens extra powers?
I would have thought it would fuck up their gestation period. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, you read too much Wikipedia, bro. Because I'm telling you right now that this one gained more powers when I try to. Never mind. Let's talk about football, please.
Well, we're gonna first. I have an anecdote, and I want to ask if anyone can relate to this. So, are you ever like driving somewheres and
Nope, I live in New York. I only take the subway.
Okay, I don't live in New York. I live in the middle of fucking nowhere, right? So you're driving down the road, and then there's an oncoming vehicle approaching you, and it's nighttime, and the oncoming vehicle thinks you have your brights on, and you don't. So he thinks you do. So he flashes his brights at you real quick to say, "Hey, turn your brights off," and you're like, fucking, I don't have my brights on. What am I supposed to do? This guy's asking me to turn my brights off. They're not even on. So then, like, right as he's almost, a couple seconds later have passed, he's approaching even closer, and he realizes you're not going to turn your brights off because they're not on, but he thinks they are. So he decides, just, you know what? Fuck you. And he turns his brights on. Just like for the last couple seconds of passing you. He's like, hey, man, turn your brights off. Oh, you're not going to? Well, fuck you then. I'm turning mine on. You know what I'm talking about? Has that ever happened to you?
Yeah, it has happened to me because it's like I would drive vehicles that either had new headlights or they would have floodlights, and people would complain about the floodlights a lot, and then they'd complain about the headlights. But sometimes it's not even that you have your high beams on. Sometimes your headlights are just adjusted too high, so you're putting your light too much into their windshield. They might just be communicating that to you. But I think the only way to know for sure is if you do get in a head-on collision with them for shining their brights at you as they went by. Because then you can tell the first responders that they were harassing you with their brights and that you lost consciousness due to the intensity of the light.
I'm
Anyway,
gonna do that
we're
next
not
time.
talking about football, dude. Like I'm giving you every chance.
Okay, let me start the Narsh song. Doom, doom, doom. I love this song, dude. I don't know. This is a good song. This is a great
Dude,
song.
are you really describing your editing process while you're on the air?
No, I play the songs while we're talking. I don't add them in later. They happen like right now. The song is happening. I can hear it.
But does Ron Wolfley go like, all right, I'm gonna play the hee haw laughing soundtrack. One second, let me.
Dude, Ron Wolfley always comments on the music that they're playing. Punch it! He always does, dude. Like that's like almost an every week thing when they do Working for the Weekend on Fridays. So yes, he does.
Yeah,
Spade,
man.
Spade,
So,
can I get a little beat here, Spade? All the time, dude. So there you go. Anyways, let's. You're not Spade. You're not Spade, dude. She'll bury you with her work ethic. That's why they call her Spade, you know.
What? I thought it was because she. Never mind. Because she got neutered.
No, it's the other kind of Spade. All right, we got a good show lined up, guys. We're done talking about bullshit. We're gonna.
They are finding that harder and harder to believe by the second. So you cook in there.
We're gonna take a look back at the week that was. We're gonna take a little look around the NFL, around sports in general, and then we're gonna take a look ahead to the upcoming week. And Lutz is gonna give you little Lutz locks, so you know where to bet your money to make the most money out of the money that you're betting. So,
I think everybody is pretty clear that you should not bet on football this season. Moving along.
all right, so let's take a quick look back at the week that was here. Actually, a somewhat long look back. Lutz, I think it is time for us to accept that Elijah Penny is not the future of running back for this team.
See, this is one of those things, right? Everybody says that we have a future something or other, but I don't believe it. I never thought John Brown was replacing Larry Fitzgerald, nor would J.J. Nelson replace Larry Fitzgerald. And I thought it was silly when people said that. I never really thought that Elijah Penny was going to replace Chris or David Johnson any more than like those two guys could replace each other. It feels like Larry Fitzgerald is like our last offensive player that we're going to have for a million years and who's going to play at a high level. I think everybody else now is going to be a 1-year proposition.
Ron Wolfley
That's
reporting.
how it feels, right? That's how it feels.
So you're saying that Phil Dawson is not going to be our kicker for the next 10 years?
Isn't that guy already on the cover of AARP magazine?
I think he's 42 or 43 years old. I think he's seriously.
Yeah, dude. His benefits are kicking in, bro. Like that guy missed like 3 out of 4 field goals anyway.
Actually, he had 4 out of 4 this last week, including a 50-yarder.
Well, I don't know why. I meant like 3 out of 4 games he was imperfect on the field goal.
I see what you're saying. Which is that's I was actually listening to an interview with Jay Feely a while ago, and he said that usually you're looking at missing your 3rd field goal somewhere around your 10th or 11th game. That's when you miss the 3rd one.
Yeah, right.
So you're not usually missing field goals in 3 consecutive games to start the season. That's not, especially when you're a veteran like Dawson. Maybe a rookie who can't handle the pressure or whatever, but a veteran kicker who should have no problem with it.
Games that were decided in overtime, so it's like extra frustrating that we couldn't just notch a dang field goal. On top of that, I got to watch Chandler Catanzaro shank a few for the Jets. That was nice.
Yeah, but he also hit the game winner in overtime.
Yeah, we did do that.
No, he did.
That's cool.
No,
yeah, he did.
Catman won the game for the Jets.
That's what I just said, bro.
I wasn't paying attention to you.
That was the alien talking, not me.
Okay, let's talk by talking about the rushing. And we'll talk about other stuff. The leading rusher for the Cardinals was Chris Johnson with 13 carries and 32 yards. Oh boy.
So I think everything that we're gonna ever say about this team right now, especially as the season has gone thus far, and probably into the near future, is it's all predicated around the O-line, and that's the frustration right now. I think that the first game or two, I really came down hard on Carson Palmer. There were some pretty obvious points where, he threw an interception, and most of what you see is the interception. Even when you see him under pressure. And Dak Prescott looked so good, but then before them, McFadden was looking good. What's his name? Dancing with the Stars guy, Rashad Jennings was looking good. It just doesn't we don't have that. And so I guess in one way, it does show what a fucking beast David Johnson is. But it also shows that, it's not that our Elijah Penny isn't our running back of the future, or Carson Palmer isn't the quarterback of the present and past, but that we just have an oversight right now, glaring oversight in our team with the O-line, that the chickens have finally come to roost, You got to fight for your right. I'm just saying that the chickens have come to roost on our fucking O-line, dude. Yeah! That's my mic.
Kick it!
Yeah! Do it, dude! You got it!
What? Oh. The,
Sounds cool.
that's his, that's Jay Feely's walk up music when he's doing an interview on Arizona Sports. They just do the part where they go, "Kick it."
Oh yeah, I remember that now. But no, my whole point though is that like in the same way that we need a franchise quarterback, we need an offensive line, and I can't say that we've under Bruce Arians' tenure. I can't say that we've ever really fielded one.
No.
In fact, can you say that we ever really did? Like ever?
No. Back in the Kurt Warner days, we had some guys out there, dude. Like pre. Okay, well, do you remember? Do you remember Mike Gandy, left tackle? That dude was a freaking brick wall.
Yeah, he was cool, but I just remember Levi Brown coming right after that.
Oh God, yeah, that's true.
And that's the O line that I have come to know and love. But no, that's my whole point. It's like we got DJ Humphries, but we don't like. We try to make all these value selections with the offensive line, but it's just interesting when you go and look how other teams draft and they take these O linemen in the first round. We've done that one time with DJ Humphries, and I mean it seems to be working out so far. I mean, these guys are long plays.
Levi was like 13th overall, dude.
Yeah, but I mean, when I say that it worked out, you know.
Okay.
So DJ seems like he's working. Yeah, he seems like he's working out so far, but even he was like, it wasn't a sure thing. Like, I don't know where people get all these like Jack Conklins or like, I don't know if Larry Tunsil's even doing well. But it's just like, dude, I was watching like the left tackle for the Browns, the left tackle for the Niners, the left tackle for the Redskins. And like these guys were monsters that were doing such crazy things. And it just upset me when I would go and watch film from the Cardinals and I would see Jared Veldier looking like the biggest bitch out there, dude, just on a fucking island by himself with his face all red. Like, oh, God, that's hard. You know, well, it's like, I don't.
Well, you know what though? This last game, Veldier was the only guy that I thought did well on the O-line. He was literally the only O-lineman that actually played a good game, and a lot of that had to do with I mean, there was a lot of inexperience out there in the O-line right now. There was that rookie Will Holden was out there. Yeah, like, who the fuck is he? And Evan Boehm, obviously it's his second year, but he ain't shit. Alex Boone, you know, like these nobodies out there. John Wetzel did his Betzel, but it wasn't enough, obviously. And then of course AQ. AQ is gonna do what AQ do. You know what I mean? Like he's never gonna be.
Sort of. Yeah, exactly right. He's consistently average or below.
Right. AQ Shipley is never going to beat fucking Jeff Saturday or Marquise Pouncey or something like that. You know, he's always going to be like, you know, all right, you know, he does okay, but he's also going to miss blocks or try to you know what I saw him do a lot? He would pass his rusher. You know, there'd be a guy coming at him and he'd pass him off onto his guard and the guard wouldn't pick it up. Right, so you know,
little bitch boy, yeah.
Yeah, so the guy you know, in the center does that sometimes. If he's blocking two guys, he's going to give one of them to his guards, and the guard is supposed to pick that up, but the guard didn't. In this case, Holden or whoever was guarding. And so, dude, did you see who they signed?
Yep, I did. They
the Swiss Army knife, dude, or Earl Watford.
Swiss Army knife, Earl Watford. That's right. I did see that we signed him. Yeah, and that's just funny, right? It's because it's like this guy couldn't even make the team over the people that we have right now. And now here he is coming back, like circling the drain. So I don't know, man. That's the trouble, dude. Right? It's like we didn't have depth at the O-line, and now we don't have an O-line.
Earl Watford couldn't make the Jags, dude. He got cut by the Jags, and he's been sitting on his couch unemployed.
That it was the Seahawks before that. Like, not exactly teams with stellar O-lines. So, yeah. So I think that's where we're at, bro. Like, my whole point where this kind of like run on like tangent here is that you can look at Carson, you can look at the running back, but when I watch the game, I just say the reason that we are tying or not winning is because of our O-line. And so, like, I can't really come down on Elijah Penny for that so much.
Or CJ, really or CJ, or anyone else. It's or Carson even. I mean, Carson got sacked 6 times. How many times did he get hit? How many times did he get hit? 16,
do you know? Dude. Like 16 times, bro. And he got sacked 6. I mean, the Niners aren't anything to sneeze at, but if you watch these games, you know that the sack stat doesn't even tell the story. And that's with the Cowboys too. Dude, it was just like it was ludicrous. It was like every play, basically they started to have did you see what was happening at the end of the games? They started calling plays that would like be instantly handing it off or like pitching it or like, shovel passing it. Just like they had to avoid any type of contact with the actual like D line because they just ran straight through the O line of
Dude,
ours.
yeah, Doomerville got him twice. Elvis Doomerville got Palmer, got sacked him twice.
It was like towards the end too.
Well, you know what? This segues nicely into Palmer because I feel like this game really showed what that old man is made of, dude. The fact that he could get tossed around and kicked to shit like that and still fucking lead, dude. The game was won on his arm. Okay, that last drive in overtime, it was boom, 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 like one bad pass, one missed pass, and then like 5 amazing passes all the way down the field, and then the one to Brown that got called back, and then of course the game winner to Fitz that stood. By the way, the one that went to Brown that got called back was bullshit. That was a touchdown. They give it to fucking Santonio in the Super Bowl, but they don't give it to Jerron Brown right now. Whatever. Anyway.
No, they can't call that John Brown touchdown. I don't understand this. The play with the Andre Ellington touchdown that got overturned and the John Brown. Dude, they've been doing that all year. Like, I don't buy that. Every single play I've seen overturned, I could understand where the refs are coming from. All those goal line stands at the ball got ruled a touchdown at first and then got, like everybody's bitching about it. Even on like sports radio, they won't shut up about the Andre Ellington thing. And it's like, dude, you can see him adjusting the ball as he goes to the ground. And then the ball hits the fucking turf when he lands. Like, that's called back 10 out of 10 times. Like, it would be annoying for them to have ruled out a touchdown because you see that come back all the time now for the same thing.
Anyway. My point is that Palmer got roughed up the way that he did. He got his ass kicked for four quarters and change, right? Well, actually not in change because in overtime he did fine, but he didn't get beat up at all. But throughout all 4 quarters, he's getting his ass kicked, and he still comes out in overtime and puts together a freaking amazing, near perfect game-winning drive that ends in a Larry Fitzgerald touchdown. Like that's the storybook ending right there. That you can't write a better ending than that. And Palmer did this knowing that he had no protection, that nobody had his back, that his O-line was going to let him get drilled play after play, just like they had been doing all game, and he still went out there, still kept his composure, still stood with poise in the pocket and freaking moved the ball down the field and won us the game. So when people try to tell me about Palmer's toughness, maybe he's older and is more injury prone because of that, but as far as mental toughness, I don't see how you could ask for a guy to be more mentally tough than what he was on Sunday. Now, I don't know if that's every Sunday, but I know that this Sunday he was like textbook mentally tough.
Yeah, I don't know. I knocked him around too much at the season start. But it is the O-line. The O-line's our whole problem. And it's definitely part of the team. Like, it's the most neglected part of our team. The reason that we started drafting there to begin with was more of a reaction than anything. I just remember the Cowboys fans bitching when they would draft like another offensive lineman like near the top. Yeah, what are they saying about that now?
Yeah, pays dividends, man. It makes Dak Prescott look like he's a good quarterback.
Yeah, people are saying that about him, which is funny because it's not okay. Anyway.
All right, so let's move on to the next topic of interest. Well, we already talked a bit about the receiving corps, so we're not going to talk about them. Let's talk about spec teams. Oh, we talked about Phil Dawson, didn't we?
There's not really much else to talk about with the spec teams, but Phil Dawson, Like,
Andy Lee, no, dude, Andy Lee put in work. Okay, 6 punts. Come on.
Yeah. I was talking about more on the return game. We keep sending Patrick Peterson back there like he's gonna do shit.
I'm fucking
if memory serves, I think it was one season. Yes, it was one season, his rookie season, where he was like a scary returner. And I understand that after that, they didn't want to put him in harm's way. But at the same time, it's like, how many years has it been since he's like done anything at all?
No, they don't know. They barely punt to him after that rookie season. When they'd see him lined up, they'd kick it out of bounds so that he wouldn't get to return it.
But I'm just saying, like, yeah, and like obviously, number 21 got a mark on him. Like everybody knows that he's out there and he's trying to do dirty stuff to you. So like I do get that they don't fucking throw to him or pass to him anymore. But I'm just saying, when he does come up with the ball, hey, like he goes nowhere, dude. He pretty much just hits the deck. Like he's like preserving himself. But even when it's like desperation, I don't know. It's just they're all too ready for him. I guess maybe you're right.
Let's
But yeah,
let's talk about the defense, because you're right, there isn't much to say about special teams other than the fact that, man, you sure do notice when you have a good long snapper. I mean,
yeah, you don't notice him.
right? No,
It's just
exactly, dude. It's a position I literally never even thought about until last season. Like I knew we had one. I knew Mike Leach was like our guy for a while, but like I didn't care. I was like, okay, so he's a fucking same thing with punter. You sure?
Yeah, punter. Same thing. You just want him to stay faceless and nameless.
Yeah.
But it's just like, how could hold on the long snapper? How come they were making such a big deal out of that like long snapper battle between like Cam Canaday and like the other guy, his roommate? You'd hear about it like all the time in sports talk, like who's the next year's on a long snapper. Then they cut both of those guys because they were garbage. Now we have this new guy who I haven't heard anybody talk about him. I don't know his name. So how come again the guy who is actually succeeding at it goes straight under the radar, even though like the guy before him became a celebrity for being so bad?
You literally don't know his name?
Is his name like Dick McShittens?
No, close. Aaron Brewer.
Aaron Brewer. All right, well now I know his name.
All right. What about
We got that taken care of.
okay? What about Mike Lupati with a L, with a lowercase L?
We like Lupati. Bam, bam, bam. Why are we talking about him again?
You
I thought we
gotta
were done
fight
with
for your
Bam,
right.
bam.
You party.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about the defense. Lutz, how'd you feel about the defense?
The defense looks good to me. I'm a little concerned about our defensive backfield. But I'm not too. I mean, do I have to talk about Marcus Golden already? Like, is that what we're doing?
Bring up Marcus Golden, man.
All right, Marcus Golden died, so like that sucks because he was not exactly the worst player on our defense, and I don't know, like what happens with that now? Like, since we have like Buchanan back, and then we have Hassan Reddick, and then I think that even Buda Baker can play in some like nickel packages and shit. Like, do we start bringing those guys up more? Do we start like, you know what I mean? Does Hassan become like, because he was like a defensive end at first, wasn't he?
Who?
In Temple.
Reddick?
Yeah.
I don't know. I actually I don't know top. I think you're right though. That sounds right.
Yeah, and that they moved him to inside linebacker, and so like I'm just wondering if what they're gonna do at OLB, because I don't think that we had like a ton of depth there.
Is Dayon back?
Yes,
I think he is. He played back. Right. He was back.
He's playing. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, they put him at linebacker a lot, but he plays it very differently than Marcus Golden.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like Marcus Golden is like an outside linebacker guy. Dayon plays safety at the inside linebacker position, and so that's just different altogether. So yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe they're gonna move Hassan over.
Well,
If I had to guess, but I don't know. He's just more naturally athletic, I think, and maybe they'll think that they can get more out of that.
you know what?
But I don't know.
What did you think of what did you think of Honey Badger? I saw him make a couple of pretty critical tackles, and he did get a sack too, on Hoyer. So I saw Honey Badger do a lot of good stuff, but I also sometimes feel like he's a bit too like ball hockey. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you're like, dude, just fucking make the tackle, stay on your man.
Yeah.
You know, don't try to be the guy that gets the pick six that wins the fucking game. Just sometimes he comes off as a little bit. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Troy Polamalu, because Troy Polamalu was the same way. He was so instinctive, and he would follow where the ball was going, and he was right 8 times out of 10. But the 2 times that he was wrong, he was completely in the wrong place, and his man beat him and got, you know what I mean. So it reminds me a lot of Polamalu in that regard, in that when he's right, it saves the day and it's awesome, but when he's wrong, it fucks everything up and ruins the game for us. Like, that's sort of what I see in Tyrann Mathieu, and his hair is similar.
Yeah, I've always said that about Honey Badger. I've always said that about our defense. It was built very opportunistically. That's why one week we'd beat somebody 47-7, and then the next week we'd lose. Um, like that's just too much of a turnaround, you know. Like, that's too inconsistent, and that's because too much of our play was built on getting interceptions. I mean, you want to win the turnover battle, but that it should be pretty much the marching orders. Like, your game should never be decided on whether or not you can get an interception. You should just assume that you won't, and that you should play fundamentally and sound the whole time, so that you don't have to worry about a point swing. So that's always been the thing that frustrated me about Tyrann Mathieu, and the fact that he couldn't stay healthy, because we play him like that. So even when we had all of that success, I kept pointing that out, that we have a style of play that is just simply not sustainable. You can't go into the playoffs and need to get interceptions to win those games. That's all I'm saying.
That's all he's saying. How about that?
That's all
How
I'm
about that finish on that Chiefs game, dude? That was out of control, man. Did you see that?
done with the Cardinals, because the Cardinals are not exactly the the bright spot of the NFL season. Surprisingly, at 2-2 though, that's pretty much, Patriots, Cowboys. Like, there's that's
Okay,
not.
but you know what though? But you know what though? My take on that is that, like, we're gonna get shit figured out, and hopefully DJ will be back sometime in December, right? If we can stay around 500, or maybe a game above, at that time, we'll be probably in the playoffs still. That, like, keeping
Yeah.
it at 500 is gotta have to be at least the focus until the last, like, let's say the last quarter of the season, and at that point we're gonna have to maybe go 3-1 or something like that, or 4-0 even for our last stretch of games. But we're gonna need to keep it at or around 500.
Yeah, everybody knows that the Cardinals finished their season strong. No, they don't. They finished their season like this comprised, like a team comprised of 40-year-olds. Like, by the time you get into week 15, they're like, I don't know, golf is coming up. Like, they're ready to be done. So I doubt that the Cardinals, even if they were able to keep their blood, like, flow in check and not lose a bunch more games and keep it at 500, I don't see this as the type of team that has it in them to make a late season push.
All right.
I think that the Chiefs and the Redskins are like the premier teams of this current NFL season that we're in.
The Skins?
They have a lot of, yeah, and let me tell you why. Because it's been like a developing prospect under Jay Gruden, and when I look at him this year, there's a lot of feeling of inspiration that's kind of happening. He lost a bunch of weight. He looks really good. And you can tell he's very much in control of his personal life right now, which always extends into your professional life. And you can feel that energy in the team. So I'm just saying, when you're losing weight, when you're being healthy, like, he's got a lot of energy to give right now. And he's really able to commit himself into his career. You look at a guy like Bruce Arians, on the other hand, who looks like he's one beer away from a fucking, like, liver transplant or something. Like, he gets like rosacea face, like he gets red in the face, like you think that maybe he's like nipping the bottle under the podium. He does not look healthy the way that, like, Jay Gruden does. And you know that you just can't have the energy to give forever. I mean, sure, he's probably great at coaching and shit, but, like, he's not young. He's not, like, he doesn't have, like, a lot of vitality. He just has, like, a lot of awareness and smarts. But how much he's able to actually project that into his career right now, couldn't possibly be at the same level that like a Jay Gruden could. That's my whole point. So like I look at the team like the Redskins, they seem like they're in a really good spot right now. A lot of things coming together for them. And then the Chiefs goes without saying. I mean, Andy Reid is kind of like the AA 12-step version of Bruce Arians, right? Where like he doesn't have the rosacea face. Maybe he takes a tablet or two now and again, but like, a pill or something, but like a painkiller. But he looks like he's healthy as well. Clear face, like he's seems happy. You can feel it in that Chiefs team right now, man. Alex Smith, I don't know what the fuck, dude, but he's turning into a wine. And yeah, so like that's how I see. That's how I'm smelling the league right now. I think that the Eagles have some interesting
There
shit
you
going
go.
on.
That's who I was gonna. The Rams, dude. How about them Rams, dude? I fucking hate them. I hate them.
The two the Eagles and the Rams are the two real upstarts.
Okay, but
I
you know what
feel.
though? But you know what though? You can't have the NFC good teams conversation and not bring up the Falcons too, because they look sharp right now too, man. I know they lost this last game against the Bills. I understand that, but I'm not even talking about that. I'm saying that they're playing solid football for 3 out of 4 games.
I just don't believe in the Falcons. I don't know what it is. It's like I do know what it is. It's the memory of things, right? Even 28-3. As much as that should say how good they are, going up 28-3 against the Patriots in the Super Bowl, even if you still lose that game, like it's still a good team just because you could do it. But still though, there's something like about the Falcons where they lack that fear factor. I don't know. They've beaten the pants off the Cardinals recently too, like a couple years ago. So it's not like I'm not concerned that they can win games. I didn't expect them to win the Super Bowl last year. I watched them lose to the Bills, and the Bills look like a good team. Also, I don't care about no fucking Falcons, dude. They're not.
Okay, so
Jameis Winston's gonna win the
how excited are you that the Cincinnati Bengals finally won a game and all they had to do was play the Cleveland Browns to do it?
And it made Andy Dalton look like an actual quarterback. What did he have? 100 touchdowns or something? He had like 4 or 5 touchdowns, I think, in that game.
Something stupid like that.
I think.
Yeah.
Unless I'm confusing this with something else. But yeah, I just remembered Andy Dalton looked un-Dalton like, I hate Marvin Lewis, dude. Why'd you bring these people up? Why are the Browns so bad? I thought he was saving the world.
Because this is a football show, dude. Like, we fucking talk about this shit.
Oh, that's right.
That's right. We're talking about football. I forgot about that. All right. I want to talk real quick, and Lutz may not have much to say about this, but I want to talk real quick about the. No, you know what? I don't want to talk about it only because I probably won't have this uploaded in time. But there's a baseball game on tonight. Do you know about this?
Dude, who won last night with that Yankees game, by the way?
The Yankees.
They?
Yeah.
You'd think I would know.
They beat, yeah, dude, they 8-4 over the Twins.
Because my wife was wearing her 8-4, nice. Because my wife was wearing her Mets jacket while we were walking around in Queens, which is Mets territory, last night, and some guy yesterday, and some guy walked by and was just like, "Go Yankees!" And I'm just like, why would you yell that at a fucking Mets fan right now? The Mets are not they're not related to MLB at this current juncture. This is just a jacket.
So tonight the Rockies are coming to Phoenix to play the D-backs, in the 1-game deal.
Rockies, dude, get them out of there.
Dude, I am so nervous, bro. I am serious.
The Rockies of all dang teams, of course, like the Diamondbacks, almost nemesis. Like of any team that could come into Arizona and just beat you guys in a fucking heads up game like that, or whatever I mean to say.
Well, we'll see what happens, dude. I mean, I am definitely super mega nervous about this, but we're starting the fucking $200 million man, Zach Greinke, and they have all the pitchers like lined up and they're ready, dude. Like they're playing this game like it's fucking Game 7 of the World Series, because it may as well be, right?
This is your elimination games.
So they're coming at it like that. All the pitchers are activated. All the starters are now relievers for the night. So
Yeah, exactly. It's like whatever we have to throw. I always found that fun about baseball because it's like the only one that's like that, the only sport like that, where you kind of like are preserving your inventory, but then when you get to like the end of the season, you just start seeing all this weird stuff. Like they throw like their starting aces will be like relief pitchers and shit, and it's like this is so cool, man.
yeah.
You don't
So
see that in other games where they're trying to win a football game and they literally like sacrifice one of their players. So, like, all right, you just stand there and you just take it and you're gonna die.
we don't. Well, we don't want to see the starters tonight. Like they're lined up, but we want
yeah.
we want it to be like Granke for 6 and that or 5 maybe, and then bring out Archie Bradley or one of the relievers for like 2 or 3, and then bring out a closer
What?
and just end the game
Oh,
like
yeah.
Rodney or Fernando Rodney or someone, and just have him pitch for an inning and close the game. That's what we want to see, is just starter, reliever, closer, and then call it done. But we have everybody ready in case that doesn't work out.
I'm excited. I'm gonna watch this shit out of that game.
I'm fucking nervous about it,
At
dude.
least you guys aren't playing. At least you're not playing a mile high, in Bush Stadium, because like or Coors Field. I mean, shit, I'm just like, all right, think of a beer. It's probably that. And what's funny is like I've been to that stadium too. I didn't attend a game there, but you'd think I'd know the name of it. Yeah, but you know how that stadium, it's like if you look up like the home run stats and shit, it's just like what? It's like I don't know. It's
Oh.
really comical how many like home runs are hit out of that park versus the other ones. So I'm just glad we're not playing, or you're not playing there, because
Lutz is a Giants fan, you guys. Lutz is somehow he likes all these Arizona teams, the Suns, the fucking the D-back, not the D-backs, the Cardinals and the Coyotes. But then for baseball, he's like, oh shit, how about I pick a divisional rival of the Arizona team? Why don't I go with them?
Well, it's because the Diamondbacks didn't exist when I was a kid, and they showed up when I was in high school. And so, like, as an Arizona sports fan, it wasn't like we would sit around and be like, "Oh, we have all these successful teams. Oh, an expansion team. Sure, throw it on the pile." We were like waiting for the Suns to win a championship. We were waiting for this to happen. And so, when this expansion team in baseball appears, and yes, Arizona does have a big baseball tradition. But definitely not in like they didn't have a pro team. So once this pro team appears and is suddenly very dominant and like all steroided out, and then they go and win a World Series 3 years after they were founded against the Yankees, a month or two after 9/11. It was just like is that how Arizona wins its first championship? Is that how?
Yes,
Really?
that's
It
how.
couldn't have been the Suns. Yes, it couldn't have been the Suns against Michael Jordan or anybody else. No, it had to be the Diamondbacks. And to see people celebrating, like, and I'm looking at them and I'm like, yo, this movie just came out. How can you say you love it? How can you say this is your favorite? No one's seen this before. This isn't even our team. Like, you can't pretend that you had some emotional fucking connection to this win. Like you don't know who
I
this
get
team
what
is
you're saying.
anymore than-
It's not like
That's what I'm trying to-
it's not like you watch. It's not like you how with the Suns you watch them suck for 15 years and then see them win a championship. It's not like you suffered through all the hard times with them, like they just got here and then they won. Right, I get what you're saying. I disagree. I'm a Diamondbacks fan, but whatever.
No, and that's how you win fans over, right? But there's a part of me that was always just like, why wasn't it the Suns? And then
Okay.
I was annoyed that but now I moved to San Francisco, right, later on, and then like 2009, and I just remember turning on the game, and there's Tim Lincecum, this nerdy kid from that one movie, and he's throwing fucking 96.7-mile-an-hour screamers. But I don't know. I was just like, okay, this is a baseball player I could like. And then he went on to be a World Series champ and ace, and that was just cool. And I'm like, okay, Barry Bonds.
Did you see that? Matt Cain retired?
Really?
How the fuck did you not know this?
I don't like. What do you mean, dude? Baseball season's been over for a long time.
Matt Cain retired at the end of 2017, dude. At the end of the season, he's
a pussy. Cat Maine. He got that big fat contract, and then he was never the same after it.
Well, probably a good time for him to retire then. Let's
Once it comes
let's shift gears. We're gonna talk. We're gonna do a little bit of Lutz Locks right now, and
He literally retired after that contract ended. What a bitch, dude. That's exactly 5 years after that huge deal he signed. And then he never was good again after he signed that deal. And Madison Bumgarner had to take over. And then this fucker retires. Whatever. Goodbye. All right. Lose loss.
yeah, let me play the sounder again.
Lutz Locks.
There it is. Lutz Locks. All right. So I gotta, and I also need to find. What should we, you know? What this is good for Lutz Locks. Come on, do it.
Is it the sound of like money raining from heaven?
No, it's the fucking the Coliseum music from FF6. All right.
Hey guys, hey, it's me, it's Brian. You ready for your picks?
No, dude. No, dude.
Let it go, dude.
No, it's sunglasses guy who's talking now. That's who we want to hear from. All right. So.
Yeah. All right, guys. Yeah, throw the game out at me.
First game coming up, Thursday night game. Patriots at Bucks.
Hey guys, it's Sal Incognito, wearing my shades here under some fluorescent lighting indoors. That's a hard voice to do. Okay, well, we got the Patriots visiting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, I don't know who's gonna win this game. Actually, I want to say the Pats are gonna win because they lost last week, but then like.
They're still the Patriots, though. You know what I mean? Like.
Are you sure they're not the Browns now? Okay, give me the fucking Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Jesus Christ, Patriots.
Okay, my picks have been really bad this year, but you know what? Everybody's have been, and they're really bad in a cool way where it's like, yo, I'll be wrong about that all day long. I'm not actually putting money out there, but you guys are. So here's more picks.
Next, we got the Jets traveling to the Mistake by the Lake to take on the Cleveland Browns.
In what might shape up to be the worst game in NFL history.
The Toilet Bowl.
This is literally the toilet bowl. I mean, I have to pick the Jets, right? Because like there's sinking turds, but then there's floating turds. So the Jets are the floater here. And goodbye. Goodbye, Cleveland Browns shit.
They're gonna get flushed. Next is the Panthers going to Little D to take on the Lions.
Little D.
Big D is Dallas. I can't call Detroit Big D.
Wait, the Panthers? The Panthers are playing the Lions?
Panthers are going. Yeah, it's gonna be a cat fest.
That's gonna be a mad interesting game, bro. Because like the Lions, I think, are one of the low-key contenders. I didn't include them on my earlier list of things because like there's just something called the Lions factor that you have to associate with that team, and so you don't put them. Even it doesn't matter if they're 6-0 and they're the only undefeated team. You still don't put them at the top. You're like, okay, you guys are the Lions though, and eventually the NFL is going to conspire against you. So what are you gonna do about that? But I'm gonna say like this game I think is gonna foretell and portend a lot of what's gonna happen later this season with both these teams. So I'm gonna think that the Lions are gonna be winning this one.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the Lions too, just because I do not care for the Panthers and I do not care for Cam Newton.
Yeah, but the Panthers, they're waking up though. The Panthers are starting to figure their shit out. So I would not be surprised if they won. But
okay, dude, you know what? I think we may have to rescind our earlier toilet bowl comment because the next game we got coming up is the 49ers at Colts. Like that's sort of, that might be the other toilet bowl, dude. I don't know.
Yo, you can scoff all you want, but that 49ers team that took the field against the Cardinals was not a garbage team. They had a garbage quarterback, but they weren't like. I didn't watch that game and hear. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I did not hear. They didn't look blooper reel. Okay, they didn't win the game, but they did not look like they were like a clusterfuck mess. The Niners are under new guidance, new management, new coaching. If they got rid of Jed York, they would probably be winning the NFC West. But when you're a douchebag owner, you don't really get to get fired just so easily. So even when you're incompetent as shit, and I kind of like that there's some residual incompetencies still in San Francisco. I don't want them to get good, but no, this game is not as bad as the Jets playing the Browns. Okay, it's bad though. It is bad. Chuck Pagano.
The song, by the way, is called Yakety Sax.
I don't know. Like, nobody else knows that. So how is that gonna help? I'm still gonna have to sing it every time, but now I'm gonna tell them the name too.
It's called Yakety. It's playing right now. That's
Oh, well then the Niners are gonna win.
Okay. Let's see who's next on the slate here. We got. Oh, by the way, I'm picking. I'll pick the Colts just because I don't want to pick a divisional rival. Titans are going to Miami to take on your Miami Dolphins. I don't know, whoever, for any Dolphins fans listening, that was for you. Luke's go ahead.
The Dolphins are gonna win, so whoever they're playing.
Titans. They're playing against the Titans.
The Titans are gonna win.
So the Titans are gonna beat the Dolphins in Miami.
So weird. Yep.
Okay.
What's happening, bro?
Next, we got the Buffalo Beef Bills going to Cincinnati to take on the Cincinnati Bungholes. Bills? I guess I'm probably picking the Bills too, because Cincinnati's been playing like shit this year. Next, we got the
game against the Browns throw you off.
We got the San Diego Chargers of Los Angeles, which, by the way, that should have been their name. They shouldn't have called themselves the Los Angeles Chargers. They should have been like the fucking Angels, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. They should have been like the San Diego Chargers of Los Angeles.
Which is interesting because LA usually just wants to slap their logo and name on the good teams. So it's a little surprising that they've still stood by the Chargers. But that's what everybody else is saying too. They're like, until they can win a game, they're still the San Diego Chargers.
So they're going to Big Apple, 1 p.m. to take on the New York Giants. Who's going to win this one, Lutz?
All right, Bear. Who's going to win the game, Giants or Chargers? All right, do you have any predictions? She says Giants. Give me a bold prediction for the game. That's not a bold prediction. That's a very reasonable, well-thought prediction. 24-16 is the final score. That's bold, I guess.
Okay, hang on. Listen, I got you guys. Okay, here you go. Listen, everyone.
What's your prediction for the fight then? Prediction? Yes, prediction.
There you go. Got it. All right. By the way, that was a clip from Rocky 3. It's where Mr. T says, when the guy asks him, do you have a prediction for the fight? And he goes, prediction? Pain. I just played that clip, so y'all heard it twice. Once from him, one from me. Next, we got. By the way, I'm picking. I'll go with the Giants on this one too. Next, you got the Jags going to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers.
That's an interesting game. I'm in the bathroom now.
Pick someone.
The Steelers. Ben's really good at home.
Yeah, I'll probably go with the Steelers too. Next, you got the oh boy, this one's gonna be a mess. Seattle Seahawks going to LA to take on the Rams. I got the Rams, dude. I got the Rams. Give me the Rams. I mean, I hate to say that. I hope I don't know. I don't want either of them to win, but I kind of got the Rams right now.
Because it's just hard to say. It's like, is LA really our competition in this division? I know that they have the best divisional record at this current juncture, but over the course of the season, is this a team that's really going to be the one that's going to prevent us from winning the division, or is it the Seahawks? Or are we preventing ourselves from winning? That's the real question.
One that we're doing.
I'm gonna go ahead and take LA. Why not? Why not? Fuck you, Seattle.
Yeah, there you go. Fuck you, Seattle. There you go. That's the spirit. Ravens. The Ravens going to Oakland to take on the Raiders. Raiders. I think it's gonna be the Raiders. I think the Raiders are gonna win.
Taking on the Raiders. I'm gonna pick the Raiders to win.
You can't just say the Ray to win because they both fucking start with Ray, dude. You can't do that. I think the winner is gonna be the Ray.
Wait, are you saying they named this team after Ray Lewis? I picked the Flaccos to win because Derek Carr is rest in peace.
All right, let's see. Next team we got the Packers going to Big D this time to take on the Cowboys. Who's gonna win that one, Lids? I think the Packers are gonna win. Lids.
Oh, that's who's gonna
win. Okay,
Packers.
Packers. All right. Next we got the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday Night Football going to Houston to take on the Houston Oilers Texans. Lutz, I can't hear you. All I heard was because you're cutting out. So I'm just gonna pick for you. I'm gonna. I'm picking the Chiefs.
Houston.
What? Really? Chiefs. Finally Monday. I've been waiting all.
What I'm trying to say is Houston is gonna lose.
Yeah. Oh. All right. So let's go to Monday Night Football. Monday Night Party, where Primetime Pigskin officially started. They're going to get the helmets crashing. The crowds are right because all the Vikings and Bears are here on Monday night. Who's going to win?
I guess the Vikings, but most of these teams are kind of lame.
The Bears are starting Mitch Trubisky, dude. They're done with Mike Glennon.
Dude, let's sign Mike Glennon.
Not for the money that the Bears are paying him to sit on the bench now. He's almost up there with Brock and fucking Matt Flynn as like guys that got conned, and Kevin Cobb as guys that conned teams into giving him a shitload of money to not do shit. The last game we have not yet addressed is, of course, the Philadelphia Eagles will be hosting your Arizona Cardinals. Who's gonna win, Lutz?
We just like to beat the Eagles.
We do. And I love it because then EDP flips the fuck out, dude.
Yeah, plus, like, we kill the Eagles a lot. I don't know.
We do, especially in NFC championships. I got the Cardinals, of course, and I got them, let's say, 24-13 is what I got. I think our defense is going to hold them to a touch and 2 FGs, and we'll call it 24-13. Lutz, tell them.
24-14.
Oh, we got beat by 1 point. Well, okay, all right.
Yeah,
Wait a second, Lutz. Is that 4 field goals and a safety that the Eagles got?
No, I told you, it's 7 safeties.
Oh, 7 safety. All right. That's probably gonna do it for this episode, I think. Let me get my Karong music playing here, and I'll tell you.
You come live by the side of the pool and jiggle your balls for mama.
I made some jelly sandwiches and sliced up some cantaloupe. I figured maybe you could eat a little food. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Kairi091 wishing you a wonderful day. Go Cardinals. Stick around the channel. I don't know if there's going to be any videos coming up in the near future because honestly, I've been prepping to go ship out for Army stuff, so I haven't had much time to do any LPs or anything lately, but let's fucking be honest. Nobody watches him but me, so who the fuck cares? Me and Slender's little blender, he watches him too. Is he still around? I don't know.
Did you have some fucking sliced up cantaloupe?
Yeah, I got it right here, man. Come over.
All right, I'm gonna eat a little, and then we'll see.
All right, bye, everybody. Have a good day. Have a good week. Have a good year. Bye.